Hello and welcome to The Sweetest Little Life. I am so glad you're here. I am your host, Courtney Hanson. With each week, we will have exciting new guests to grow spiritually, develop personally, and learn how to step into our purpose authentically. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the next 30 minutes of connection with the mind, body, and spirit. Susan, hello. Welcome to The Sweetest Little Life. How are you?
Oh, you're the sweetest little life, Courtney. I love the name of your show. I'm so happy to be here with you. Two Cali girls with all of our emotional healing and loving hearts brought to this segment today. I'm just honestly sitting here with you. It's just a lovely break for me. I've been balls to the wall lately, and I was looking forward to just sitting down and having a nice, uplifting, loving, heart-centered conversation. Just like taking a minute together. So yeah. I'm happy to be here, darling.
Oh, I cannot wait for today. I know I was thinking the same thing. It's been holiday season and so insane. The past week, I'm like just holding on for dear life till the 23rd.
Yeah.
Are you doing anything for Christmas fun?
Well, I'm trying to do nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing. That's what I'm doing for Christmas. But I'm 63 years old. My 27-year-old daughter is currently in Australia with her adorable Australian boyfriend, if you can imagine how cute they are. And my husband and my boyfriend and I are just going to chill, ride mountain bikes, cook meals, lie around for a minute and catch our breaths. And all my friends are texting me, hey, what are you guys doing for Christmas? I'm available. And I'm like,
I'm not.
I don't want anybody over.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to cook a big dinner. I don't want to do all the friggin' dishes. I don't want to have to be in other people's agendas. I'm going to be totally and completely selfish and just be with my close loves.
Yeah. That's so funny. I ended up surprising because we're doing the RV life thing right now. So I surprised my family and got an Airbnb. Good. Super nice one. It's like a tree house. It's incredible.
Ooh, fun.
But a very large tree house where we all have our own spaces. And my son was like, I just kind of don't want to leave the house for 5 days. And I was like, yeah, that is the plan. We're just going to hunker down and not.
Hunker down.
Yeah. No phone, no nothing.
I bet a lot of people are hunkering right now. It's been hell a year. For
it
all
has.
Of us. Our whole, in America, we've got a wedge driven between us. We're so polarized. It was interesting too. I was just on a very large podcast, probably the biggest one I've ever been on. And it got a couple million views just on YouTube. It had close to, and it'll crest over 7,000 comments.
Wow.
And about a third of the comments were neutral, fine. A third of the comments were incredibly positive, and a third of the comments, I literally got called a whore and a Jezebel and all kinds of things. Like in the first day, I got called a whore 500 times for talking about sex, sexuality, passionate lovemaking. And it's so interesting because I called one of my very famous friends and I was like, you're hurting my feelings.
I feel that so deep.
And he said, babe, you're just starting to get famous now. You're not even famous until half the people hate you. So the other half can totally love you full out. And I thought, that's reasonable. You cannot make everyone happy. You must find your people. And when I saw that you had accepted my publicist's okay to be on your show, I'm like, that's my kind of people right there. That Courtney is my kind of people. Heart-centered, healing, dealing with trauma, yoga, Reiki, all of the kinds of things that you're about are indicative of an expanded consciousness, not living under someone's opinion.
Yeah.
Of how you should live your life. And I think that if there's anything we can talk about today, it's about how to get out of being that good girl in that patriarchal sexual paradigm that basically trips us up in our own little panties and does not serve the goddess.
I feel like you're reading my mind. This whole past month, I had some bad reviews and some people saying mean things. And I had reached out to someone similar and they said the exact same thing to me. They're like, everyone's not going to like you. And I was like, but I'm so nice. Like, I have a good heart. And they're like, yeah, that's not how life works. If you want to be successful, you're going to have people that hate you. And I'm like, there's like a hate Courtney club though. And they're like, yeah, that's how it goes. And so just alignment always is so perfect and beautiful to exactly what, and I'm not, this is like collectively going on though. I think a lot of people are going to that next level as we enter into the new year, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's all the things people don't warn you about.
That's one of the things I always think about myself is that I'm not special in any way. I'm just like everybody else. I'm not, anything other than how I'm having the same life experience as everyone else. We're struggling. We're working our butts off. We're, finding our joy. We're carving out our life. We're making our decisions, all of those kinds of things. So when it's happening to me, I don't think it's special.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to rewind because I want the audience to know who you are. And I used to do these like grand introductions for you. And then I realized like no one tells your story like you do.
Yeah.
So tell us who you are, where you came from, where you're going, what you're doing.
Yeah, sure. So I have a funny little niche in the universe. I am the publisher and author of Passionate Lovemaking Techniques, what I call heart-centered, conscious, passionate lovemaking. And that is what I create as an antidote to pornography and patriarchal Hollywood paradigms of what sex should be. And I'm a little science nerd, and I'm a little loving mama bear. And I'm very good at telling men how to be better lovers. I'm also very good at telling women what it is that we need, that we have not been getting, that has been making us think we're broken and we're not. The system is broken that we live in. And if we don't surface what's broken and what would be right for us, that's what I like to do. I like to tell people, try these things. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not anorgasmic. Your libido is not low. Like all these things that we think are wrong with us are actually just the system not serving us. So what does a system look like that serves us? That's the conversation that I like to enter into. And one of the things I know about men is that they are victims of this paradigm equally, because when they do things to us that they aren't even aware are just kind of like how a dude wants sex instead of how his lady wants sex, then they're not doing it on purpose. They literally have never seen good examples of passionate lovemaking, heart-connected, conscious, passionate lovemaking either, because they're masturbating to porn, which is like 96% degrading to women, according to a study I read in Time magazine.
Right.
So passionate lovemaking. So I'm not a therapist. I teach you how to have hot sex that's super satisfying. I also teach bedroom communication skills because the techniques have to sit on a platform of understanding what you want, how to figure that out, hearing what's possible for you that you would choose to enjoy and try, being able to ask for it and have your partner be like, yes, thank you, baby, tell me more, instead of, I already know what I'm doing, you don't have to tell me, and shutting us down, which is women's number one concern about communicating in the bedroom. And all kinds of things like sensual talk, pillow talk, worship and adoration talk, all of those kinds of communication techniques too that are not dirty talk. They're sensual, pleasure, sexy talk. Yeah. Because being auditory in the bedroom is a very, very crucial component to sensuality, which is our senses. We need to hear, see, smell, taste, touch, feel, everything.
Makes so much sense.
Better. And then the third thing that I do, if you think about great sex that keeps getting better your whole life long, it's three things. Solid platform, the techniques, the communication skills, and intimate wellness. Ah, my pussy's broken. I can't feel anything anymore. My clit vanished. I'm dry as a bone.
I hear
Sex
that all the
hurts.
time with
I'm
menopause.
peeing my pants.
Yes.
Exactly. So if you want to have good sex, it's body, mind, and spirit. And I got to fix the body parts. And what's great is that with regenerative therapies and sexual biohacking, you can reverse the problems so they go away, because once you have the techniques and the communication, you want to have hot sex that keeps getting better till the day you die, because intimacy, and I don't want to say sex because people think intercourse, and I love intercourse, and I teach intercourse skills because people do not know how to do intercourse either.
Right.
They just mirror what they see, and what they see is patriarchal. So orgasmic intercourse, I'll drop a link. I'll probably drop a few links as we talk, because people are like, what were the techniques? And I can't I can't dive down into every wormhole.
Yeah.
So orgasmicintercourse.com, if you would keep that on your show notes, then people can go find the 10 free techniques about how to have female pleasure focused intercourse that's orgasmic for her, which is super important. But you can't do all that if your body's broken. And when your parts work and it feels great, and you have the techniques and the communication, then sex keeps getting better and better your whole life long. I'm 63, having the best sex of my life by far on every measure of my sexuality: body confidence, orgasmic capacity, heart connection, ease of getting into turn on. Like I could name 400 things that have gotten better with my sexuality. And what I like about that is that I'm also somewhat of a longevity expert. I want to stay young, beautiful, full of energy, vital, creative, passionate, energetic, strong until the day I die. And I'd like to be having better orgasms at 100 than I am at 63. And I think I can do it because good, intimate pleasure, not just intercourse, sex is not just intercourse, it's all the things,
Right.
extends your lifespan, your health span. You look younger than your peers. You have better brain function, better mood, better nervous system, better immune system, better gut system. Everything is improved by the beneficial precipitate of passionate lovemaking.
Wow. I did not know it did all that. That's insanity. Well, and you look good, so that says something.
I'm trying.
So what got you into this? Was there a situation that happened? Okay.
I didn't want to have sex with my husband after a decade of having sex with him and never having an orgasm from intercourse. And I avoided him.
10 years, no orgasm?
12.
Wow.
Yeah. I could have an orgasm with my vibrator, but never in partnered play.
Wow.
And I just got tired of having sex with him. And I think this is one of the things that happens to most women, is it's just not that good for them because they've been getting screwed like a man. Mm-hmm. And, the kind of sex that I call grab a boob and stick it in. No warm up, don't understand our arousal, don't do enough foreplay, focused on penetration. And I love penetration. I'm not saying penetration is bad. I'm just saying it's not what the goal is, even though usually I want that, but I want a lot of other things too. When I have a lovemaking date, it looks very different than 99.9% of the women who are listening to your show, what they're getting, which isn't great. So I could describe that. But,
please do. I'm intrigued.
I will. And I avoided my husband for sex until it almost ruined our marriage. And we went to therapists, but even sex therapists, they're mostly, I love and have many of my friends are sex therapists. But what they're dealing with are traumas, kinks, fetishes, premature ejaculation, everything. They're dealing with problems, mismatched libido, et cetera, et cetera. What I do is I create opportunities for pleasure. And therapists don't get taught any of that. So we went to therapists, but it didn't really fix it. They couldn't tell me how to have an orgasm from intercourse. And so we went to sex workshops because we, like you, are California based. And we went to these sex workshops, and it almost immediately transformed our sex from stressed and unsatisfying to pleasurable and incredibly satisfying. And that's when I got into the business 20 years ago now of creating, writing, publishing passionate lovemaking techniques. 44 books and programs later, including 10 of the programs of my mentors. And I've been very lucky. I believe in mentorship, and I have sat at the feet of a few incredible sexual pleasure experts who are retired now, and they've passed their lineages down to me. Because whether you're talking about yoga or Tai Chi or anything else, the human operating system works the way the human operating system does, and fed the right inputs, it can have absolutely marvelous results if you follow the forms. And so I have some techniques: expanded orgasm, female ejaculation, male multiple orgasm, things like this, that I teach you the forms and you can do them. And that's the great thing about learning about sex, is that number one, there's so much you can learn that you'll never stop learning. It'll keep giving you the gift of variety and novelty the rest of your life. But it is also the kind of thing where you just get better at it as you practice it. Sex is a mindfulness practice. It's a meditative experience. When people say, well, do you meditate? I go, I do orgasmic meditation. So,
and you think about like sex magic and manifestation and how big that is too.
Yes, exactly. So that's the story. That's what got me started was, your greatest wound becomes your greatest gift. I like a silver lining.
Mm-hmm. I think every person listening right now heard the grab a boob, stick it in, and was like, yup, been there, done that. And I think, too, there's so much shame and guilt around sex that we're taught from being itty-bitty that as we get older, there's like this shame of the body or shame to ask for what you want. Like, was that ever something for you that you had to lean into that discomfort?
Of course. You can't be a woman without body image issues. And what's interesting about it is that though we often think, well, it's, Madison Avenue and the airbrushed images and the filters on Instagram and all those kinds of things, but it actually goes much deeper than that. And one of the biggest things that I talk about is the difference between male and female arousal. And part of that is that the feminine form is estrogen dominant and the masculine form is testosterone dominant. And they create, there's nature and nurture. And the nature of us is very different. And even though we have the same parts in different sizes and locations in our genital structures, as an example, an innie versus an outie kind of thing, we have very different arousal patterns. And all of the things we see in media, pornography, movies, television, is male pattern arousal patterns. How would we think how could we not think we're broken? We just don't respond like men. And so everything out there is for the male orientation instead of the female. And that's why we think that. The other thing that happens is because we're estrogen dominant. If you think about being a human being, and there's the prey and the predator. Men are prey. Predators. And women are prey in the grand scheme of things. Not all. These are just, generalizations. Everything's on a bell curve. But who are all the pedophiles and sex offenders? Like 99 to 1 men. So women do not walk safely in this world. What have we developed as a way to manage that? A very highly functioning reticular activation system that estrogen manages. Why are we incredible multitaskers? And when we ask our husband to do something, if he's busy, he's like, oh, honey, you got to talk to me later. I'm doing one friggin' thing right now, and that's all I can manage, And God love them. They have their benefits. I love men. And it's not their fault. No one's told them. They want to please us. Everything about men is wonderful to me, but not when women think there's something wrong with them.
Right.
So estrogen is the hormone that keeps us safe. It actually is always paying attention to a million things, which is why, to keep us safe. which is why we're judgy. Is that a problem? Is this a problem? Is that a problem? Why is my stomach fat? Why do my boobs sag? How come I've got cellulite on my ass? Oh my God, is anybody looking? What's going on? We're just like all up in our heads, which is why we need our big lug of a man to be like, come here, baby. Honk. Hold us like Ludo in a big, warm, fuzzy hug till we go, oh, and then don't let go until we're like, oh, baby, yeah. I do love you. I do want you. Okay, I'm getting turned on now. It just takes us 20 to 30 minutes to get the blood flowing to our genitals that it takes a man who has nighttime erections, wakes up with morning wood, he's thinking about sex, he's masturbating every day. We're not. I mean, some women masturbate every day, but it's on the edge of that bell curve.
It's rare, yeah.
And so when guys say to me, and this is what they do because they're single-minded, they go, what's the number one sex technique you could tell me? And I think to myself, oh, dear God, I love you. Can I give you a checklist? I remember I was at one of my birthday parties a couple years ago, and one of my friends showed up, and they decided that everyone would go around in a circle and say one thing that they loved about me for my birthday. And Shane stands up, and he has this roll of paper, and he unfurls it, and it rolls down to the ground, and it rolls out into the middle of the circle. And he goes, okay, I came prepared to tell you what I love about Susan Bratton. And it was the cutest thing. And that would be like what I would do when a guy would be like, tell me one thing. I would want my scroll. It's like Santa's list, you know. I would want my scroll to unfurl down into infinity about the things that you can learn about how to be a good lover. But okay, here's one, dude. The first one is slow down. Turn around, get in your heart, get present, and come back and get me. Because I'm way back here, and you already got a boner, and you're ready to grab my boob and stick it in, and I ain't there, dude. And so...
Yeah, I think there's so much misknowledge too, that for men and women, that this isn't a subject that's openly talked about, right? Unless you go seeking out, a sex workshop or some type of information or sex therapy about it. This isn't something that's like readily available for you. So what you're doing is so magic, because sex is such a pivotal point of relationships in general. And I think a lot of people miss that space, that like, it's like, you go in a sexless marriage. Well, that sexless marriage, like that intimacy is so important. Like, what is it? The percentage is like 96% of men's love language is physical touch, right? Like it's something crazy. And so what would you say with when things started to pivot for you in your marriage? What did that look like?
Oh God, it felt so good. It was a renaissance in my relationship.
Yeah.
Now I've been married to Tim, Sir Tim, we call him, the prince among men.
Sir Tim.
Sir Tim, isn't that precious?
I love that.
Sir Tim, he is a prince, and I've been married to him for 33 years. And we have had, like everyone, our ups and our downs, our grit your teeth months, even years. But I've been married to him longer than I haven't now. I've been with him longer than I haven't in my lifetime. He is my person. I am thick and thin with that guy, no matter what. He's my man. Even when I'm so pissed off at his bullshit, I can't even stand it. I love him through it all. And so in any relationship, you are going to have the feasts and the famines, the thicks and the thins, and the sicknesses and the healths. That's how it works. So I think for me, it has been this, whenever, the first Renaissance we had 12 years in showed me how he could be driving out the driveway, leaving me, to months later, we are having the best sex of our lives. We're totally back in love. It's an incredible renaissance, so much so that we wanted to start a company together teaching what we learned, because it's so easy once you learn things to do them, and then it has such a positive impact. We've dedicated 2 decades to teaching passionate lovemaking. We don't do any workshops or any one-on-ones. Everything is published. It's all digital, digitally delivered so that people all over the world can have access to it, so that you don't have to get naked. You don't have to fly to San Francisco, get naked, and go into a workshop with a bunch of sweaty bodies. You can just absorb in the pleasure of your home, watch things together or solo to get ready when the one is called in. So that, I think, is what it's like, is just you come back to each other over and over, and you deepen your love and your bonds and your skills together.
Right. For the audience listening that really wants the juice right now, because I'm sure you get this question all the time. If someone is right now just stuck, what techniques can they start implementing into their love life to make it a little spicier?
Yeah. It's interesting. Dossie Easton, who wrote The Ethical Slut, and Deborah Anapol, who wrote The 7 Natural Laws of Love. I did a workshop with them once. Deborah's passed away. She was a good friend of mine. And one of the really simple things they taught me was increasing desire is a simple equation of 2 equal things in equal measure being available. The first is trust and safety, which often we have with our partner. We've chosen them because they make us feel safe. Right. Because again, we're prey and we need protection. So some women maybe don't feel that way, but the large majority of women really values the security of a relationship. Yeah. So the trust and safety is there, but what goes missing over time, because nobody knows what to do, and that's my job, is to teach you those things, is novelty and variety. No matter how long you've been married, no matter how, here we go again, I gotta have sex with him or he's gonna be grumpy. You can get out of that by beginning to do new things together, learning new things. That generates new relationship energy, and that keeps sex exciting, and it's part of your personal growth. Sexual maturation and personal development include sexual growth and experimentation. So there's a couple of things that I recommend. One is that if you cannot talk to your partner about sex, you can't give them feedback, or they're resistant to hearing what you have to say, they feel like they're doing something wrong if you give them feedback, or they just kind of shut it down, or they take it as, you're telling them what to do and they chafe at that. These are typical masculine responses because men live in a victim mindset and a pecking order, and anger is about the only emotion they're allowed to have. They're not socialized or raised by their families to feel their emotions, and so it's not their fault. Right. But if you're married to that person, or if you're the kind of woman who's like, I don't know what I want, I just know what I'm getting ain't it, then this is the technique I will give you. And it's a free download. It's called the Sexual Soulmate PACT, PACT, like an agreement. And it's at sexualsoulmatepact.com. So if you'd be so kind just to put that in your show notes so people can
I'll
find
put everything down for you guys.
Print that out, read it, give it to your husband and say, I'd like to enter into this agreement. I'm going to start telling you how I'm feeling, what my body's telling me, what I need. I need you to gracefully accept it because it's not your failure. It's just feedback so you can do a better job, because I'm a different human being every second of the day. I am not steady state. I run with the moon, dude. Like, I'm doing the best I can living in this crazy mercurial situation I call my meat skin, right? So let's work together here. My husband and I call ourselves Team Sweetie. We had a hashtag before there were hashtags. We always feel like it's us against my animal body in a way. Like we gotta help her out. She needs our help. My husband is willing to do the heavy lifting, to set up the love nest, to invite me to play, to give me yoni massages, to hug me and hold me, massage whatever hurts, check in with me so I can get out of my head, into my heart, let my blood flow into my genitals, start to get aroused. And he knows that it just takes that long. Even today, Courtney, dang, I still sometimes lie there in bed while he's giving me a yoni massage, which is almost always what we do. That's kind of our pre-floor play, is like yoni massage and check in.
Sounds amazing.
And it's so nice. And he's just like, that's what he does. He just knows that's what it takes to get me going. And sometimes I'll lie there and I'll be like, wow, I am really having a hard time settling in. I'm really having a hard time letting down. It's taking me a minute. And then I'll be like, girl, he loves you. He knows. He's not rushing you. You're rushing yourself. Chill out. Get back in your body. Get out of your head. Get into sensation. Get into your heart. Touch him. Connect with him. Thank him. Love him. You'll be fine. You're going to get there. I always get there. I always get there. I don't get up and go, I'm sorry, I can't get there anymore. We know how to get me there. But we know we have to get me there. And he doesn't think there's anything wrong with me because I'm not like, boink, ready to go. And in all honesty, a lot of men, they have this idea. Like, I have a friend who's had over 400 girlfriends. He's very handsome. He's really nice to women. And women pick him up everywhere he goes. They come up to him. So he's had 400 women. He's in his 60s now. And one of the things that he told me is, until I learned what you teach, I was always with women who were on the same grab a boob and stick it in trajectory where intercourse was the goal and my job was to get and maintain an erection and do my job.
Interesting.
And so the train was going to leave the station and it was about the destination, not the journey for both of us. We just didn't know what we didn't know. Yeah. And since you've taught me all these techniques and all these communication skills, now every time I have a partner and every time I'm with that partner, it's a unique experience based on me giving her a bunch of ideas of things that might be fun, her giving me feedback and telling me how she's doing and what she's called to do. And then we start and we stop and rest and we start again and do something else. And we just let it flow in a way that I hadn't experienced with the first 400 women I had sex with. And he said, it's completely changed my life. And women are just almost like, oh my God, I don't even know what to do with all this expansiveness and calmness and not being pressured or rushed or any of that. And their creativity starts to really come out. So number one is the sexual soulmate pact. It's being able to be the kind of guy that you can handle anything she says, because she's not saying it to you. She's just living in that meat package. It's not easy. And then the second thing is the sex life bucket list. So pleasuring techniques are great. Communication skills are great. But what people actually need in that variety and novelty are what I like to call erotic adventures. And erotic adventures are what the kids have a sleepover on Thursday night. I'm bringing home Chinese. We're going to scarf it up, and then we're going to find your G-spot, or we're going to practice the female ejaculation program, or we're going to have an expanded orgasm date, or we're going to try this new Pulse Queen toy in a yoni massage, or we're going to, and I'll give you a link to Pulse Queen as well, because that is my favorite.
I'm like, this all sounds very intriguing. I'm in.
Yes, it's my current favorite yoni massage hand tool for my partner. I like his hands, but I also like the penetrating effects of this vibrational plate that sends the sensation deep into the vulval erectile tissue so that when you become aroused, the blood can flow in and plump everything up so there's more surface area, sending more signals to your biggest sex organ, your brain. And the combination of manual touch and the massage tool makes it doubly good and doubly orgasmic. So if women who are
sounds amazing,
struggling to orgasm or one and done, or they want to have different kinds of orgasms, because women can have, people, not women, all bodies, all Homo sapien people can have over 20 kinds of orgasms, locations to touch,
20?
techniques to
20?
use. 20 and 20 is a wild card. Techniques to, locations to touch, techniques to use, and objects of desire, which I would consider the vulva massage tool to be an object of desire.
Well, there's my learn something new for today.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I thought there were like 5.
No,
my
there's so
gosh.
many, and I've had them all. I call myself an orgasmonaut. I like to go to the far reaches of orgasmic potential and learn how to
Wow.
do them all, and then just tell you step by step by step by step by step by step what to do. If
Yeah.
you go to Orgasmic Cross Training, it has all the different types of orgasms and the tools and the techniques and all that stuff on it. And so the Sex Life Bucket List, see, I have a lot of links because people are always like, tell
We'll
me
throw
more.
them all in.
I like to stay high and let you go find what you want. If you want the Sex Life Bucket List with the erotic adventures, that's at sexlifebucketlist.com. It comes with a video where I walk you through 48 erotic play dates. You can sit there with your partner, print out 2 copies, and I've got the 48 listed and a little check mark beside them that says, is this an A for you, a B for you, or a C for you? And so you write an A next to the ones that are like, oh, 110% going on my sex life bucket list. B's are, it's not for me, but if you want to do it, babe, I will. If you want to do a lingerie photo shoot with me, I will do it. You know? And the C's are, it's not for me right now. Never say never, because the thing you used to go, I don't know if I want to do that. Now it's the
Now
stuff
be your
of your
favorite.
fantasy. Exactly. Because you mature, you grow, you get more confidence,
Right.
you become more easily satisfiable. Yeah.
And I would imagine, I know for me personally, the more comfortable I got within my own body
Yes.
and my own skin and learning what I do like and being able to ask for that and not be
Yeah.
ashamed of it, the more I felt expansive in what I was willing to try and
Yes.
love, that before I would have been like, ooh, no.
Yes. You get less concerned about how you look as you age. Your 30s are the hardest, judgiest time on yourself, generally. And that's because in your 20s, you're still young and you look pretty good. In your 30s, you start to notice the signs of aging. But one of the things that happens simultaneously with that is that you go through an individuation process. And to become the person you are versus the person your family, your culture, your parent, raised you to be, you have to dismiss and judge things. So you get extra judgy because what you're really doing is you're determining what's right for you. But the problem is the extra judgy will flow over into you being extra judgy about yourself and your looks. That by the time you're 40, you're almost surrendered to the fact of your own humanity and you're like, use it or lose it. I'm going to be fine with my boobs like they are or my butt like it is because it is what it is and it's not going to get better. It's only going to get worse. So carpe frickin' diem. So there's hope.
Hope is good. We all need hope.
Exactly.
Oh, God, I love it so much. Okay, and then what's the third one? We have our sex bucket list.
Yeah. Oh, God, I don't know. What was the third one?
I don't know. I
thought
feel like we need 3. 3 is a good new number.
I gave you the 2. The 2 is how to ask for what you want and have your partner be happy about it. The second
Sex bucket list.
is the erotic adventure.
Erotic adventure.
Yeah, that's the sex life bucket list.
Okay.
So it's the 48 erotic play dates that you can mark. So he can do it ABC, you can do ABC, and then you merge your A lists. And that's the things you do to create the new relationship energy and learn new things together and have hot, fun things that are better than just grab a boob and stick it in. And I've got a low libido and blah, 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 blah. All the things you're telling yourself now that are limiting beliefs.
Mm-hmm. So with limiting beliefs, this really is a mindfulness practice. I mean, I've never even thought about sex like this. This is incredible what you've done. So with limiting beliefs I really want to touch on this because I think this is something that I hear at least once a week from women that I work with. And it's, I can't have sex. It's too dry. I'm perimenopause. I'm postmenopause. It's not working. What do I do?
Okay.
Is there anything for people that they can start to do that's not medication or not a lube?
Yeah, there are. So the very first thing is, so let me give you the stack. When we do sexual biohacking, and I speak all over the world on this topic. So when we do sexual biohacking, what we're doing is we're reversing the atrophy of aging so that we have more youthful genitals. You can think about it like what your face would look like if you never used a moisturizer and a sunblock versus what it would, right? It's going to look bad, or it's going to work well, or it's not. You're going to have a bad skin barrier, you're going to have a good skin barrier. So it starts with, and I'm going to just give you the whole stack from the bottom to the top. And it's going to be going from the cheapest, easiest thing you can do all the way up to the more expensive, all the way to pure luxury.
Okay.
And I'll just run through them, and then I can give you links. I'll give you links as I go, so you can stick them in the show notes, because people are always like,
Perfect.
what was that thing?
I need that.
I need that thing. So, okay. Start with a nitric oxide supplement. I recommend a food-derived nitric oxide supplement. So I like Flow. Nitric oxide is a gaseous signaling molecule that sends blood flow to your pelvic bowl. It is not your hormones that are making sex feel bad. It is a loss of nitric oxide production. We don't even have really a lot of nitric oxide left in our food supply because we have nitrogen depleted soils now. So by the time you're 50, you've got half the nitric oxide production you had at 20. And that means you can't get that blood down to your genitals, so your clit has a boner, so sex feels good.
Yes.
This is ground zero. And the one I like is at Buy Flow Now. BUYFLOWNOW. Boom. Easy. Take them at night. That's when you refill your nitric oxide stores. If you can, take them in the day if you can't. Eat a lot of leafy green vegetables and beetroot too. But if you supplement with nitric oxide. Cognitive function, heart health, vascular system, reverses edema, makes you live longer, and makes your orgasms better. Gets the blood flow. Because your vagina, it's not a gland. It's a muscle. It's a big, stretchy muscle. The baby's got to come out of there. So it doesn't self-lubricate. The way it lubricates is that the blood plasma runs down into your pelvic bowl, and this plasma seeps through the vaginal mucosal linings and wets the lining. That's where your lubrication comes from. So if you're stressed out, you don't have enough time for arousal, and you're low on nitric oxide, you're dry. It's exacerbated by, here's the next thing, losing estrogen, because estrogen makes the tissue of your vagina and all the tissue, all your skin, everything thin, and you lose collagen. And when the tissue thins, your vagina gets more open. That's called vaginal laxity. You don't have the grip you used to have for your orgasmic contractions, and you can't hold as much moisture in the mucosal lining. So especially around the opening to the vagina, the introital sphincter is what that's called, a little round muscle. It gets very sore when you have sex. So the second thing that you want to do is you want to add estrogen. And I like a vaginal estrogen.
Okay.
It's at getglowbelow.com. There are two versions. There's DHEA version for women who, for one reason or another, have chosen not to supplement with estrogen. But there's also a bi-est estrogen. It has estriol and estradiol. And it's bioidentical. And what I like about this serum is that I use this on my face, my neck, my chest, the back of my hands, and the tops of my arms, in addition to my vaginal area, because it's such a clean formulation. If you're not going to put something in your mouth, you shouldn't put it in your vulvovaginal region, because it absorbs right into your system. So we are aware of clean beauty. Now we need to understand clean vaginal products, which brings me to the next thing, and that is lubrication. Lubes are an FDA Class 2 managed item, which means they are mandated to have preservatives in them. And what lubes do is they sit on a shelf, and they've got potassium benzoate, potassium sorbate, and now they've gotten so bad there isn't even any like aloe vera or real jojoba oil in them anymore or anything. It's all hypermethylcelluldoxylate dihexyl, like this.
I'm all impressed right now. You can say this.
I just made that up, but that's what they are. There's these crazy ingredients.
Sounds right.
And so it's, how our foods used to be made of actual whole foods, and now they are ultra processed chemical replacements for foods.
Yes.
That's the top 20 or 30 brands of lube that you'd go to any store and buy are the same friggin' thing. So I work with, and I am, full disclosure, a spokesperson for Foria. And Foria is not a sexual, they're not in the sexual lubricant category. What they are is a sex oil for all the slide and glide that you want, melts which are cocoa butter that go up, cocoa butter and botanicals and CBD that goes up inside your vaginal canal and melts up inside there. So you have plenty of emolliency, moisture, and their awaken arousal oil. This is called my pleasure protocol. These 3 products, the arousal oil, a couple of drops on the vulva, on the clitoris, it's a pre-lubricant. So you have a pre-lubricant for the outer area, melts for inside the vagina, and then sex oil, as much as you want, often as you want, slide and glide on top. The 3 of them are like a symbiotic symphony of products made for the exact function required by the yoni, the entire female urogenital system.
Now, anyone can use this, right? Because just selfish reasons, I don't have a problem getting wet, but I want this yesterday just because it looks amazing.
It activates the mind-body connection. There is a CBD-free version of the pleasure protocol, but for people who like CBD, because our endocannabinoid receptors are all through our genital structures. And the endocannabinoid system, whether you use your own endogenous endocannabinoid system or you get it kind of kick-started with phytocannabinoids, which is what the hemp plant makes, which are pretty much bioidentical to our own body's endocannabinoid. That's our pleasure healing pathway. So the relief melts, for example, these are the intimacy melts, but they also make relief melts. And the relief melts have twice the CBD in them. So they're even more relieving. So what this does is it awakens the tissue. It relaxes you at the same time, provides relief, and provides slide and glide. The MCT oil in this is pretty much just what your brain wants to eat for breakfast. It's ketone food, MCT oil. It's caprylic acid. So it's very, very whole, clear, good for you, etc. And what I love about it is that it's also somewhat of a loving pleasure ritual for you and your partner, or for you and yourself for solo pleasuring. So the pleasure protocol is at pleasureprotocol.com, and it's absolutely marvelous. Courtney, I will send you the pleasure protocol so you can try it yourself. And make sure you get that. Let's get that to you by Christmas.
Thank you. I'll take
Then
a picture.
Next stack up is a vagina device. I'm showing this on our video, and this is a intravaginal rejuvenation device that uses
infrared light?
Red light therapy, photobiomodulation inside the vagina. It pops right in. And it stimulates mitochondrial energy so that you develop and thicken that vaginal mucosal lining, which thins with age. It helps with vibration. It's not a sex toy. You're not going to have an orgasm from it. What it's going to do is your Kegels for you, so you keep good pelvic tone to reverse incontinence. The red light also stimulates glycogen stores, which is cocoa butter and glycogen are the things that the good vaginal bacteria like to eat. And so you get there are a lot of women who feel like they have vaginal dysbiosis, but it doesn't test out as being a problem, but it doesn't smell quite right to them. And I've had a lot of women be like, oh, that just all went away when I started using the vagina device. So it helps with incontinence, thickening the tissue, improving lubrication, improving sensation inside the vagina. So this is the vagina device at vaginadevice.com.
So this is going to create that grip that you were talking about that naturally we lose. Okay, because I was just thinking the inflammation would, because so much of us carry inflammation naturally, that red light, genius.
Yes.
This is making me excited. I didn't even know half this existed.
It feels so
hitting my mic
good.
over here.
I got you all excited. I love just sliding in that red light. It's warm.
Okay. So it has like that infrared heat a little bit too?
And it's warm, and it has infrared warmth and red light. So it
feels
so good inside you. And I just answer my Instagram DMs, and it's only an 8 to 10 minute cycle every other day. for 8 to 10 weeks, and then you just reuse it anytime you need it. You keep it at home. But here's what it doesn't do. And this is an issue that women also have as they begin to atrophy. And we're wrapping up now, but this is the last couple of things I want to tell you. And that is that if you have clitoral atrophy, vanishing clit, anorgasmia, loss of sensation, difficulty achieving climax the way you used to, laxity of your external labia, like saggy pussy, basically. If you have any of those kinds of things, just difficulty achieving orgasm like you used to, any of that, that's additional vaginal atrophy. But it's not vaginal atrophy, it's clitoral atrophy and labial atrophy. And so I love the vagina device, but I always go in every few years and I get Gainswave treatments. And I take my husband, he's literally there right now. He's having his 6 sessions, and well, he'll get a 7th free because I have a promo code. So if you go to gainswave.com/Susan, you get a 7th treatment free from a practitioner. You go in for the treatments a couple times a week, or you can space it out if you want to. And what it does is it uses acoustic wave technology that goes it's not just vaginal, it's vulval and clitoral regeneration of tissue. It stimulates new tissue growth. It brings growth factors into the tissue, and that creates new capillaries, and then that allows nerves to grow back out to the edges because your nerves and capillaries retract when your tissue atrophies. So all of a sudden your orgasms get better again and your whole vulva looks nice and plump. So that's Gainswave for her. And then this is the luxury. You're just like Richie girl, and you can do anything and everything you want. I want it all. Give me a milk bath and put all the diamonds on me. That's where you can also add PRP, platelet-rich plasma, or PRP or PRF. And then you could add exosomes, or you could add stem cells. Your stem cells could come from umbilical cord blood and be cultured and put into you, or you could also harvest your own stem cells through liposuction and have those injected into your genital structures. And all of those things are growth factors that even accelerate on top of everything that I'm talking about. So it just depends on your budgets, but these things are not expensive. I mean, the whole Foria Pleasure protocol is under $100. The Glow Below is $90 for a 30-day supply. The vagina device is a couple of $100. The Gainswave is, maybe, I don't even, you have to get the prices from the doctors, but they all are the same price. They hold the price the same. But it's reasonable. It's like maybe $1,500 or something like that. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, especially if you're having a lot of incontinence, a lot of laxity, and the vagina device is just not going to get you where you need to go. You need the big guns, and the big guns are acoustic wave, and it does not hurt. And it works, and you reach full effect about 90 days to 6 months after. You just keep seeing improvement after improvement. Your body's got to grow new tissue, so you got to give it some time. So that plus the Pulse Queen.
Oh, that's what we were talking about earlier.
I found it while I was sitting here talking to you. This is the genital yoni massage vibrator. But if you're like for you guys with your kids, if you live in a really tiny place, like
an RV,
and your kids are sleeping in there, the Womanizer Vibe is the other product that I really recommend because it's completely quiet. Yeah, I could turn it on right now and you would not be able to hear it even if I held it to the microphone. But it works. But it's not as strong as the Queen. So the Queen is a little bit more oomphy, but I like quiet vibes. I even do an awards program called the Quiet Vibes Award because I don't like noisy stuff, scratchy stuff, and things out of place. I'm just fussy, which is why I think I'm so good at teaching people how to have orgasms, because I can really feel into myself and describe things in great detail. I'm a highly sensitive person. So some people are just highly sensitive and they don't have kids in the house. They're just highly sensitive. So I will give you links to both of these. And I usually have a promo code. I'll check with my team and make sure you get a promo code for any discounts possible on any of this stuff.
Okay,
so
amazing. We'll do like a full link section for everyone.
All the things. We've got a link tree for you people.
Oh, you're amazing.
And to stack them up, because every one of these you do is additive to the synergistic effect of better orgasms, more pleasure, more satisfaction, more confidence, more ease, more joy, more sex, more health, more longevity, more vitality, more creativity, more sex magic manifestation. Boom. Oh yeah, I'll do my mic
I'm
drop.
like, mic drop.
Boom.
I love it. Okay, I know we're going over on time, but I do have to ask you this, because if I don't, I'm going to kick myself
All right.
just for my personal selfish reasons.
Go
So
for it.
you're a mama, and right now I'm pregnant. I have 3 kids, right? And I know there's a lot of moms in the audience listening right now. And one of the things that I think we can all consecutively say is an issue is time.
Yeah.
So what do you feel? I've heard a lot of controversy on like scheduling time, because it takes out the excitement of it for sure, versus making time. But at the end of the day, you're tired. You don't want to stay up till 2 a.m. So what is that answer for you? Is this something that goes under that bucket list that you were talking about on like creating these moments, or what would be your biggest tip?
There's 2 sides to this. The first side of me, the mommy side of me, is going to tell you that this too shall pass and they will grow up. And you have to just do the best you can do in an imperfect situation, because the kids just suck the life out of you for a while. And they're totally worth it, and they're so precious, and I love my daughter so much. So that's one thing. You'll get through this. The second thing is, yes, when you think about, okay, grab a boob and stick it in, I just have to have sex with my husband or he's going to be miserable, then that's another chore. Who the hell would want to do that? But when you're like, baby, I've got a new job for you. Do this to me so I can get turned on. So I really want to have sex with you. We're going to do this on Thursday. Then you're looking forward to the date. So if you look at scheduling sex as like, I don't want to do one more thing, it's because you don't have anything fun planned. If you had something fun planned that mommy wanted to do, mommy would want to have a scheduled sex date. So let's find out what mommy wants to do. What's on mommy's sex life bucket list?
That makes sense to me. Okay, so that is a huge missing component, I think, for a lot of people. Because you hear people talk about scheduling sex all the time, and I'm like, that sounds like a chore. That sounds like one more thing on the calendar that seems really stressful. But if you have a date planned, like, that can be spicy and exciting. Yeah. So
Daddy,
I want
to show Daddy how to rub Foria's Pleasure Protocol all over my yoni and give me a yoni massage.
I feel like I need to buy everything you just listed.
That doesn't sound so bad. Yeah, I would go for that. Yeah. So what does mommy want to do? Because Daddy will do anything to get mommy in the bedroom. So you're like, he's basically putty if you're just like, here's my A list, baby. Which one do you want to do?
So everyone's homework this week is to figure out their ABCs on that list.
Yeah, this is a whole new ABCs, mommy.
So, okay, people in the audience listening who are like, Susan, I need to talk to you right now. Where can we find you and connect with you? And then like I said, we will do a full link tree for everyone in the show notes so everyone has access. We'll also do a blog too that has everything on there.
Great. Thank you for that. It helps people out. There's nothing more annoying for people than not being able to find the things they want.
Yeah.
Okay, so how if you have a burning question for Susan Bratton, here's what you do. And I answer everybody's. There's 2 questions sitting in my inbox from 2 different men right now that I need to go up and do after we're done. People email me from all around the world about every little thing, and I almost always have an easy answer, an easy solution, a video, a free gift, an article, something that's going to get you on your way. And trust me that anything you ask me, I have heard it a million times already. We are the operating system we are, so there are solutions to all problems. And every once in a while, I'll say, your issue needs a therapist, not a sexpert. But you can go to betterlover.com and get on my newsletter. I send out 2 juicy action-packed newsletters a week, and you can reply to any of those emails you get from me with any question you have. It goes right to my inbox. People are like, is it really you? And I reply, it is me. You may ask. I am here. So it's not my customer care team. I have one, but it's not them. It's me. It's private. So you can ask me anything, full story. at betterlover.com, and you can follow me on Instagram at my name. You have to squish my name together to find the right me, because sometimes there's impersonators and stuff like that trying to get my traffic. So it's Susan Bratton, all one word, on Instagram. SusanBratton, like the brat who weighs a ton. Susan Bratton.
No one's forgetting that.
I don't weigh a ton. It's all muscle. So Susan Bratton on Instagram. But don't ask me the question in DMs. You can follow me there. There's great content there. But ask me on my email. It's easier for me when I'm in front of my computer than trying to type on my phone. So
Feel that.
That's how you find me. That's where I am. And I've been here for decades, so I ain't going nowhere. I'm here for you.
Thank you so much, Susan, for being on the show today and just spreading your knowledge with us. I learned so much, and we will definitely be in touch soon.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have a takeaway or something from the conversation that really just resonated within your heart center, I would love to hear about it. Please leave it in the comment section so we can give you more of this content. As always, please subscribe, save, and sharing is caring. We love you to pieces. Have a beautiful and blessed day.